Ah, yes. Ashkandi. What a banger. An absolute slapper of a weapon. I don't know what I like most about this thing. The draconic aesthetic, the dick swinging size of it, the fact that it was once the sword of the legendary commander Enwin Lothar, or the irony that it's kind of a hunter weapon. Being an internationally acknowledged beauty, it's a bit of a shame that it looks like shit, being originally added to the game back in July of 2005 with the release of patch 1.6. Blizzard did try to give it a remaster back in Cataclysm, but that was just all around embarrassing for everybody involved. So I figured I would give it a go myself and see if I can fix this thing up. I started out the way that I start every 3D model. I delete the default cube a new project starts you with and replace it with my own identical cube. No, the blade itself is not all that complicated. The most fucky part here is the little dragon hats on the side. I mean, they aren't rocket science, but also I'm far from a rocket scientist, so aggressively respecting my source material, I still spent a solid hour trying to get them right. Speaking of sticking to the source material, whoever can tell me what the fuck is going on here, well, you're very smart. I couldn't for the life of me, so I ended up winging it there. Same goes for the pommel. It's a visual migraine. Sorry, legendary commander Enwin Lothar. To get the small details into the model, I didn't use 3D geometry, but instead I went the route of normal maps, and the route to these was through using 3D geometry. Basically, I made a low-res version of the model, followed by a high-res version of the model, the former being my actual model, and the latter I would use to bake its details into set normal maps for the low-res one. Now, being the elite artist that I am, I made sure to confidently bake these maps in full resolution with 8x anti-aliasing to make sure I didn't save myself any unnecessary time, because being the elite artist that I am, I also made sure there was a fuck up for me to discover after every single bake, meaning I had to sit there and watch it bake all the way through about 10 times before the end. This was not very fast. After all this fun stuff, it was time for the moment of truth. Texturing. My approach to texturing the famed blade of the famed commander Enwin Lothar was to basically throw things at it just to see what stuck. Substance Painter comes with many different types of metal, none of which are titled irregular metal dragon scales, so I had to face every artist's least favorite part of doing art and think creatively. And seeing as my previous videos garnered an average of about 3 views, I found that a scaled up version of the plastic diamonds material, along with some added metallicness, did the job just fine. By far the least fun part of this process was to try and draw the little glowy bits in the middle. It sucked dick. Drawing with a mouse is a blast, as everybody knows, but if you're looking for a real good time, make sure to not mirror the texture of this little middle bit for some reason, so that you now have to also draw it in perfect symmetry. This explains the imperfect symmetry. I continued to just try things just to see what works for all the other parts of the model, until I got to an end result that I was happy with. Like I said, I tried my best to stick to the original design as much as I could. I did deviate on some small things, but I think if I don't point those out, most of you are not going to see them, so I'm not pointing them out, find them yourself. And with all that said, with pride, I present to you Sword of the Legendary Commander, Ashkandi Remastered. Alright, bye.